And drawing the short straw this week and representing the Red Sox after the trade deadline, it is Brian O'Halloran on the Harbor One hotline. Hi, Brian.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Great, thank you. Start off with Tuesday and the deadline, and I guess from your perspective and Chaim Bloom's perspective, there just weren't the deals out there that made sense when it comes to adding. Rafael Devers had suggested, love to see this team add a pitcher. Is that kind of how you guys looked at it? Just it didn't make sense to do the deals with whom you could get?
Yeah. We looked at a lot of opportunities and you're always looking to see what's out there and if it makes sense. And we were hoping to do things that would help improve the team over the course of the last couple of weeks. I think we did a number of small things that help us, but we weren't able to line up on anything that was kind of a bigger needle mover. We talked about a lot of things, but just none of them ended up making sense. And I think that's you kind of see that around the industry. There weren't a lot of impact players that were moved at the deadline. So you explore all the opportunities, see what's there. And in this case, there wasn't anything big that we lined up on.
Is there a danger when you have a clubhouse and a guy like Devers who is asking for help in not delivering it? And how do you then handle that from a management perspective with the players who are asking for help?
Yeah, the players are always going to, rightfully so, look at it from field level and focus on the now and just a desire to see players come in that can help in that moment, and we're looking at it largely the same way, and so we're trying to do that, but obviously not going to do something that doesn't make sense. And I think the way to manage that, and it all comes down to communication and just the transparency that you have with players, whether that's from Alex Cora, whether that's from Chaim, myself, others. We talk to the players. Talk to them before the deadline. We talk to them after the deadline, and explain as best we can. Kind of what we're thinking, why something did or didn't line up. And I think I really respect that when players do come out and say like, hey, we'd like this or like that. And a lot of times we agree with them. But it doesn't always line up that way. So, but it all comes down to communication and we have such a good group, that's focused. Now we've turned the page past this deadline. I think a lot of guys, breathed a sigh of relief that we, didn't end up trading some players off of the team because there was, some sentiment, if you just listen to the public, there's a lot of people that thought we should, trade our free agents to be, and others thought we should add. And, we obviously explored a lot of things, but I think this group is focused on the future and trying to secure a playoff berth here.
Well, you guys are there doing it every day. I just have the luxury of commenting on it from the outside. So but that being said, it could look like from the outside that when you have a team that is, very close to being a wild card team and you don't add, that you don't believe in this team. Do you believe this is a playoff team?
Yeah. And look, I understand that perspective from the outside, as you said. And like I said, we explored different ways to improve the team. Made a few small moves, but I do understand that perspective, and I think there's probably a lot of fan bases, a lot of media folks that are in your role around the country that probably are saying some similar things. That's just kind of the way it is. Sometimes you line up, sometimes you don't. But yes, 100%. We believe in this team. We have to obviously go out and do it. We're not in a playoff spot right at this moment, but we have a great opportunity in front of us. We play the team that's directly, in our way for a playoff spot this weekend. and we play them 6 times the rest of the way. We play our other rivals, in this race. Houston, we play 7 times. The Yankees, we play 7 times. Play the Rays a bunch of times. Baltimore, I referenced Toronto. We have a great opportunity. We have a third of the season left. We have, some guys coming back that are going to really help us. We're in a spot where we can do this, but we have to, just go out and do it. It's a tough division, and we just got to fight our way to the postseason.
So if you and Chaim believe that this is a playoff team, why does Chaim Bloom refer to them as underdogs?
Yeah, that got a lot of play, huh? I'm not going to speak for Chaim, but I think the point is we're not currently at the moment, or the moment that he was speaking, like in a playoff spot. So sure, we're on the outside looking in, but we believe that we can get there. So I think that's the way we're looking at it.
Brian, is it safe to say that players get caught in the moment and are always looking for the big picture? And I don't, no pun intended, pitcher intent.
You mean picture as opposed to pitcher.
Right. Do they look at it like, oh, we need that big name guy to come in, where from the front office standpoint, you might look at it, well, some of the little moves are not worth making, and we're not going to go after a big time player because we don't want to give up too much?
Yeah, I mean, I think, players are, of course, going to have a different perspective than front office. But, I would say, like, mostly we line up. It's just, in terms of how we're viewing it, like desire to improve, desire to, add to the team and when you're in the race. But we have, we have the opportunities in front of us to look at and assess, and we do have the big picture to look at. But I think it largely kind of lines up. It's just, we have to assess those opportunities and figure out if they're actually going to make us better. We didn't want to do trades, and we generally don't want to do trades that, just to do a trade, just to bring in a player, if we don't think it's a real upgrade. We're going to do things that we're going to explore things that we think actually really help us. And if we line up, great. If we don't, we pass by those opportunities and just go forward.
It didn't sound like Alex Cora lined up on the underdog thing when he was on this radio station yesterday, because he said from his perspective, he thought that this was the best team in Major League Baseball the last month or so. So is that just a difference of opinion?
I think that's just different choices of words. And I think we all agree that we have a really good team that has a really good opportunity in front of it. And I think that's the bottom line.
Brian, you brought up the fact that you're playing the Blue Jays this weekend, and that's a big series for you guys. Are you disappointed that Trevor Story isn't making a return? I feel like a lot of fans are disappointed that we're hoping to see him back in action this weekend for such a big series, especially when he is one of your main acquisitions at the trade deadline, him coming back from injury.
We're excited that we're going to be getting Trevor back soon. You can't force a process like this. He hasn't played all year, and he needs to, check off every box along the way so that he can come back safely and be at his absolute best and help us down the stretch. You can't, artificially, manufacture that if he's not quite ready on a given day. You have to play out the process, but we're just excited that we'll be getting him back soon.
Do we know what is preventing him from coming back? I've read, that there has been no setback in his return, but that he just doesn't feel ready.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty typical in a case like this. Usually a rehab assignment for a player that's been out the entire year after a significant surgery. Usually those rehab assignments, there's a reason that they're, usually the maximum is 20 days for position players, 30 days for pitchers. There's a reason those exist, and he just needs to get to the point where he's ready to help us make a run here.
Brian, you're as uniquely qualified as anybody growing up in the area and been with the organization for over 20 years, starting working under Theo, to answer this. Why the shift in philosophy? Because for years, whether it was Larry or Sam or Theo or Ben or Dave as the GM, it was, we believe in this team, so we will invest. Now it's, we believe in this team, so we're not investing. What happened? Why the shift in philosophy?
Yeah, I don't think there has been a shift in philosophy. I mean, there were years dating back to 2005, 2006, where we just didn't. You may, I don't know. I'm maybe older than all you guys, but so I'm not sure if people remember this. But Theo's price of milk analogy. I forget if that was 2005 or 2006. Like sometimes, you can believe in the team and just not line up on opportunities or not line up on anything major. That's happened numerous times in the past. That's not a shift in philosophy.
The Sherwin-Williams question of the week is from Colin Hayes of North Attleboro. Does this team have the financial resources to actively pursue a high-profile player? And Colin says, like Shohei Ohtani.
I'm going to ignore the last part of that. Yeah. I'm just going to talk about whether we have the financial resources
free agents
to pursue a high-profile free agent. The answer is yes.
Okay. Yes, and from the owner on down, I would assume, I'm guessing by the way you answer that would be an intent off-season wise.
The intent is to continue building this team up. Like, number one, we're focused on the rest of this year and trying to get into the postseason, and then when we turn the page to the off-season, it's to build a championship team for 2024.
Ask Sherwin-Williams how to help bring color to your life. From color solutions to expert paint advice, we've got you covered. Brian, thanks for being on this morning, and we will talk to you again soon.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, that is Brian O'Halloran, the general manager of the Boston Red Sox.